Hi there lovelies, I'm Rhonda Crimes. I'm a life and leadership coach supporting everyday people just like you to reflect and rework your everyday stories so you can step into the everyday leadership of your families and communities and create compelling, meaningful and fruitful lives every day. This is the next meaty chunk from Brené Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection, that I've been breaking up into bite-sized pieces with shorter videos that you can watch or listen to on the fly instead of having to find too much extra time. However, it will always be my recommendation that you read the book for yourself. But today, let's talk about the gifts of imperfection, cultivating authenticity. We're kicking off with the first of the 10 guideposts today. As we go through them, you'll notice that they overlay and interconnect. They're not standalone, just like real life, in fact. So, welcome to guidepost number 1, cultivating authenticity, letting go of what people think. How many of you, like me, always believe that people were either authentic or they weren't? When actually, from the research that Brené Brown shares in The Gifts of Imperfection, like many desirable ways of being, authenticity is not something we have or don't have. It's a practice, a conscious choice of how we want to live. And also, like most things we choose, it might not be easy or come naturally to us, and it might also be really hard to transfer across all aspects of our lives. Some people do it really easily, every day. Some people don't do it at all. And then there's the rest of us trying to be better at it. I love how Brené says, it's something I work toward. If I'm full of self-doubt or shame, I can sell myself out and be anybody you need me to be. This is true for me. I can be totally myself in so many situations, but as soon as I feel the need for approval, I can dump everything and try to fit in or try and get the hell out of the situation using any means available. And then when I really reflect on it, I can be a different me with my family, with my work colleagues, and with my friends. It's all a version of my authentic self, but often limited to how much I believe they might be able to cope with or accept of me. So not completely authentic. And as a result, oftentimes I'm left exhausted because on an unconscious level, from a lifetime of cultural conditioning, I'm still wondering if I'm doing the right thing. Brené developed a definition and anatomy of authenticity, and let's take a look. She says, authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. Choosing authenticity means cultivating the courage to be imperfect, to set boundaries, and to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Exercising the compassion that comes from knowing that we're all made of strength and struggle, and nurturing the connection and sense of belonging that can only happen when we believe we are enough. Authenticity demands wholehearted living and loving, even when it's hard, even when we're wrestling with the shame and fear of not being good enough, and especially when the joy is so intense that we're afraid to let ourselves feel it. Mindfully practicing authenticity during our most soul-searching struggles is how we invite grace, joy, and gratitude into our lives. Now, it's my belief that we can always aspire to be more authentic, and because it is a practice, like any other practice, say in sport, some days we'll be on and some days we'll be off. But we keep playing and improving, learning from the times that didn't go so well, and celebrating the times that we know we've had a PB. One of the things we also need to look at as we practice living within authenticity and being more true to ourselves is acknowledging how it will impact those around us. Some people will struggle because it means that you're different now, and that can be unsettling for them. They may question why you want to change and then how that will affect them. There may be a degree of uncertainty as they come to terms with the changes in you that then force them to question their own values, beliefs and behaviours. Your new practices and behaviours may trigger others into their own shame storms, and some will move away from you. Others will move against or towards you as they reconcile themselves. You yourself might be triggered, where you question, what are you doing? And project all the what-if scenarios that you can imagine in your head. Mostly they will be centered around, what if they don't like me? This is the time I've spoken of before, the period of chaos and reorganization that every open system must go through in order to move to a higher level. And it's okay. It's a natural process, but it might be uncomfortable sometimes. This is also where courage steps in, where you can use what I would call warrioress energy to protect your cause, to maintain your boundaries, because you know in your heart this is the way forward to living a wholehearted life. Brené says, there's risk involved in putting your true self out in the world, but I believe there is more risk in hiding yourself and your gifts from the world. So each guidepost has a dig deep section at the end, where D is for getting deliberate in your thoughts and behaviours through prayer, meditation, or simply setting your intentions. The I is for getting inspired to make new and different choices. And the G is for getting going, taking action. Digging deep isn't pushing through like in the old way. It's more about finding a restorative way with good grace, intention and thoughtfulness. Brené says her D, when she's faced with the vulnerability of being true to herself, is saying the mantra, don't shrink, don't puff up, stand your sacred ground. Her I is to remember everyone else who shares their work in the world, because courage is contagious. And her G is to make authenticity her number one goal when she's feeling vulnerable. That way she can keep it real, and while she may get her feelings hurt, she doesn't get triggered into shame like when approval or acceptance by others is the goal. As I've said, when you make changes, there will be pushback and you'll need to talk about that. It's really important to be selective with who you share your story with. So I just wanted to remind you that I've created a printable A4 handout with 8 tips to help in the selection of someone safe to share your story with. If you'd like a copy to act as a ready reckoner to help you maybe steer clear of the wrong person, or maybe help you become the right person for someone else, click on the 8 story sharing tips link in the post. Next week, we're going to get into guidepost 2, cultivating self-compassion, letting go of perfectionism. But as always, if your now is not the picture that you painted for yourself, and you'd like any help on this discovery path, or maybe something completely different that you intuitively know or feel isn't letting your true colours shine through, then please do get in touch with me. You can do it really easily. Just leave a comment, send me a private message, drop me an email, or pop over to my Calendly online diary using the link I've provided, and we can set up an obligation-free curiosity call and see if we're a good fit for each other. Much love until next time.